What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. This is Game Flicks and Chill. I am Nick. This is Dante. This is your podcast where we're going to talk about pretty much anything: gaming, movies, music, anything related, anything we want to talk about. We're going to talk about it here on Game Flicks and Chill. Um, Start right off, dude. GTA 6 got announced.
It took them long enough.
Yeah, I know.
It certainly did.
Well, the original came out on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, correct?
Yep.
And that came out in 2000 and like tail end of 14, beginning of 15, I believe, like in that time frame.
That sounds about right.
So it's been what, almost 10 years. So I mean, I'm rounding up here, but
Well, by the time it gets released, it's going to be well over the
right,
10-year
it's
mark.
gonna be 10 years because it's releasing in 2025. And some of the hot news on that is that it's going to be releasing on newer generation consoles only, which, honestly, I'm not upset about at all.
No,
Like, that needs to happen. They need to start phasing out that older hardware. And I still have friends, and we still have friends that are playing on older generation consoles, but, we can't progress as an industry until we start phasing that older hardware out. Games are not going to be able to utilize the full, go to the full extent of what they were. And we saw that with games like Jedi Survivor, right? And Hogwarts Legacy, where they release, maybe not Survivor, but where they release on newer generation first. I know Legacy did this, but um yeah, they released on newer generation and then months later had to come out with the last gen port just because they were so big and so demanding that they needed more time to get those games compiled to run on the old generation console. And we kind of saw a similar thing happen in, what was it? I think late 2015 into 2016 was when the Xbox One came out.
yeah.
And we saw it happen with Grand Theft Auto 5, where it released on last gen and then, had to get ported over and opened up to run on the newer generation consoles. I remember that because you and I played on 360, and then Grand Theft Auto Online came out on the 360, and that, I believe, it came out on the 360. I don't know. I wasn't a big GTA Online player. And then it came out with a console port later on. Black Ops 3, same deal. It came out on both generation consoles, and there was a very noticeable difference between playing those games on um, console, on last gen versus current gen consoles at the time. So I think it's a good thing that GTA 6 is launching on um, consoles on next gen only. I'm not too happy about the fact that I have to buy a console now in 2025 to play it. Because for those of you who don't know, it's only releasing on um console. It's not coming out on PC, which I think it's a bad move, honestly. When you have games that are coming out and are cross-play, and it just seems like you're gonna miss a lot of the market if you can't launch on everything that's available.
Although I'm fairly certain that there are more console players than there are, you know,
I won't deny
PC.
that. I won't deny that
Yeah.
fact. But look at a majority of your GTA, I would say, a majority of your GTA 5 online players are PC. I I don't have metrics for this, so like maybe it's just kind of I'm talking out of my ass here. But I would have to say that, especially with RP that's out, like I don't know if you've seen the GTA RP.
Yeah, that's a PC exclusive.
Right. And the amount of people that play that, I mean, Christ, it essentially revived the whole GTA Online community. It's, I would say there's probably as many people playing GTA Online RP as there are playing just regular vanilla GTA Online. And it's been so long since I've played GTA Online, honestly. I think I tried to play back in 2019, right before I made the switch to playing on PC. It's one of those games that even if it did come out on PC, I'd probably play with a controller anyway, just because it's one of those games where I don't know that
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd be able to play it on keyboard and mouse, but I am so hyped because it's been so long since we've gotten a GTA game. The map is massive. Um, I'll try to find a.
The new graphics for Vice City just
So
it's
yes,
unimaginable.
it's set in it's set in Miami, essentially, and sorry, I'm looking for a picture of the map here. So I'm gonna pull up a picture of the new map, and I'm gonna go to a different screen here. This, and you can't see this, but this is the map comparison for GTA 5 versus GTA 6, and it is, I would say, probably just under double the size. It is massive, and dude, I'm just so incredibly excited to play this game. I mean, unfortunately, we have to wait till 2025 to play it, but um, it's been so long since I've played Vice City, and I wanted to play the Grand Theft Auto remastered trilogy that they came out with, but apparently it had a bunch of issues, and I just never played it. But being able to go back to Vice City, I think is gonna be it's gonna get those nostalgia points in the same way that Grand Theft Auto went back to Los Santos, and because Los Santos was essentially uh, San Andreas,
Yeah.
which was the my personal favorite of all the. It was like the culmination of all the Grand Theft Auto games at the time. Now it doesn't. You go back and you play that original game, it doesn't hold up, but it story wise and gameplay wise, it was revolutionary. And this is one of those franchises that just seems to always be pushing the limits. And I think in today's age, they're going to have a hard time getting away with the things they used to. But the fan base isn't going to allow that to slide. So I just hope that they're not too politically correct. I mean, the one of the best things about Grand Theft Auto to me was always how satirical it was. It was just you could do anything. Yes, it was an RPG, it was an open world game, but if you wanted to do it, you could do it in Grand Theft Auto. And I just hope that they keep some of that mindset. Hopefully they didn't get too politically correct. And I don't think they did, but we'll see. I'm excited to play it. Unfortunately, it's going to be till 2025. Two main characters. I can't remember their names, but we were talking, I think, with Dylan, and he said, I guess you can only play as one at a time. You can't alternate between them, which I don't know how based that is. I don't know if that's based in fact or just, what he heard. The trailer looks, let's talk about the graphics for a minute. It looks fucking incredible.
100%.
I the trailer that came out, the base resolution was in 1440p, so I'm wondering if they're gonna try to prioritize 1440p resolution as the game's what it's meant to run at, which is kind of cool. Most people that play on TVs, I mean 4K TVs are everywhere now, so I play on 1440p displays, but I just think that when this game comes out, it's going to be the game that, more so than anything we've gotten so far, it's going to be the game that truly shows how powerful these new consoles are and pushes the limits of what they can do. In the same way GTA 5 did. But yeah, I'm excited. I think that, I mean, Christ, the entire internet blew up, mostly because we've been in a void. We haven't had GTA and a new GTA in years, and I just think that I think that it's breathing a lot of life back into this franchise, being able to have something new. Did you see the leaks? Little bit of tea
Mm.
here. So
The
the
only thing I've seen is that they plan on or have reworked the entire money earning system and costs of things while in game. That's about it.
hmm, um I haven't seen anything like that, but I would imagine a lot of that ties into how GTA 5 RP took off as well as it did. Being able to like actually have a job and get a paycheck and in game obviously and accumulate your fortune that way. And, and obviously you have GTA Online, which probably influenced that a little bit too, but the leaks I am talking about are there was a kid whose father actually worked for Rockstar Games, and I guess the father had been talking a little bit about how they were planning on doing an announcement trailer soon. So the kid got onto his dad's laptop, found the trailer on his dad's laptop, and leaked it on TikTok. I think it was like 2 days early. So this kid just lost his dad his job for some views on TikTok. Because I was laying in bed one night. It was like 2 a.m. And I was laying in bed. And I'm like, what the hell? The new GTA 6 trailer just dropped. And it wasn't even from Rockstar. And yeah, he leaked the entire trailer on TikTok, which is, most people would be like, oh, that's sick. We've been waiting for so long. This guy, he's a hero. And in my mind, it's like, dude, you just prevented yourself from probably ever being able to go to college.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm in that situation where my kid is disowned. I mean, if I had the dream job, working on video games, personally is one of the dreams that had I really thought about it. And gaming when we were younger was not. It was still like that, unless you played Call of Duty. You had your inner circles you played with, but if you were playing Skyrim, if you were playing Pokemon, if you were playing, I mean, maybe not Grand Theft Auto, but if you were playing video games, I mean, hell, even I'd say Halo, Halo Wars, it was still, you were the nerdy kid, you know? You weren't cool. Now video games are so damn cool. Everyone plays them. You see these actors coming out now, like Terry Crews, avid fucking gamer. And it's so much more widely accepted now. So if I was growing up now, I would highly consider taking every programming class that I could in school and pursuing this career path. So that being said, if this was my kid and he leaked classified information from my work, buddy, he's gonna have to go live with his aunt and uncle under the broom under the steps in a broom closet, because he ain't living with me anymore.
I
I know
feel that.
that might be brutal, but ruining my because who's gonna hire this guy now, right? Uh, I don't know. I haven't really looked into it, but I'd imagine that there was disciplinary action taken by Rockstar. I mean, you're talking a multi-billion-dollar company working on one of the biggest franchises, that possibly the most anticipated game of the last decade. Before it was announced, before anyone knew that it was being worked on, people were wondering when GTA 6 was going to come out. So no one's going to hire this guy because this is a permanent stain on his career. I just thought it was worth mentioning on the podcast here. See what your take
He'll
was
lose
on it.
his job. Personally, definitely, some sort of disciplinary action, but I feel like he's probably not going to lose it. It's just going to be one of those ones where it's like, no bringing work home. We got to check you before you leave.
Yep. It's
Things like
it,
that.
it's it, in I'd imagine there are those things. With COVID, it kind of screwed a lot of things up. A lot of people working from home. I mean, we'll even talk about layoffs here. Like, the gaming industry as a whole in the last year is so good for the consumer, right? We got so much content this past year. I mean, we were eating fucking good. And with COVID, you have all these developers working from home. So a lot of studios have gone down to essentially a skeleton crew, or you only come in on days where you absolutely need to, so you work from home. So I don't know if that, with the current state of things, the way COVID changed things so much, I don't know that we're ever gonna the industry will ever see like in person working again. Now I'm not in the industry, so I don't know, but I do follow a few people who are developers as well as Twitch streamers that you know they work that 9 to 5 every day and they go to work, but they also do a lot of remote work too. So it's almost like I'm surprised it didn't happen before. You know, I'm surprised this is the only game that something like this has happened with. But big day for GTA 6, or big week for
Yeah.
GTA 6. I'm I'm so excited. I am so excited to play it. I think it's going to be awesome to see Vice City again. Um, and I'm sure there's going to be tons of Easter eggs in there about Grand Theft Auto Vice City, which was the first Grand Theft Auto I ever got to play. I remember playing Vice City as a kid because I would go to Matt Greenwald's house in the summertime, and he had a PlayStation.
Yeah.
He had a PlayStation 2. I didn't have a PlayStation 2. I didn't have an Xbox, an original Xbox. I was still on PlayStation 1, and I played, I played a lot of Nintendo growing up. I had a GameCube. So, and my parents were a little bit more taboo on the more mature games. Like, I wasn't allowed to play them. And I would go to Matt Greenwald's house and I would play Grand Theft Auto because I knew I could get away with it there. Um, I just I love this franchise, and I wish Rockstar a great launch. And hopefully that's the one thing that I was thinking about PCs. Like, you've had this much time to develop this, and you're telling us that it's not going to launch till 2025. I just hope that they could get it on PC in that amount of time. But, beggars can't be choosers, and if I have to go buy a PlayStation or an Xbox, I guess I'll do that.
Yeah. Cry a river. You guys got so much shit that we don't have.
I know, we were
You can
just
deal
talking
with
about it.
one. Yeah.
You want to play Lethal Company, I can
Yep.
play Lethal Company, but none of my
Oh, I'm
friends are.
still waiting for Phasmophobia.
Dude, so it's kind of like the same vein, right? Same kind of game, and
Hmm.
it's PC only.
Well, that's the thing. They originally had it planned to come out on consoles, not just Xbox. I think it was 3, 4 months ago. And then they had some sort of issue at their office and they got completely set back. And then they were getting ready to release it again in October, by Halloween. And then PlayStation was like, well, hey, our new handheld device is coming out. And you guys said, oh, you'll put it on there, right? And the developers were like, we weren't planning on it. And they go, okay, well, now you're planning on it. So then it got set back again. It's not supposed to release until February of 2024.
I didn't know any of that, but
Yeah.
that's interesting. So, I mean, but on the same hand, you have a lot of console exclusives too. Maybe not for. I'd say Xbox and PC have a lot more shared exclusive content, but like when you look
Yeah.
at PlayStation and you see all the exclusives that they have, I mean, it's years before they ever come to PC. And like before, what was it, the Last of Us remake and the Spider-Man remakes, or not Spider-Man remakes, but like the Spider-Man PlayStation ports, like that wasn't a thing. So PC currently got God of War, Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales and The Last of Us, which were all formerly PlayStation exclusives. And by the time they came out with The Last of Us port, I mean, they already remastered The Last of Us for PlayStation, released Last of Us 2, Spider-Man 2 is in the pipeline, and God of War Ragnarok was set to come out by the time we got any of that, the previous games on PC. So, like I said, console has some exclusives too, more so on the PlayStation end of things. I think with Game Pass being the way it is right now, I think that if you're not on PC or Xbox, you're actually going to be missing out. No, you still have your PlayStation exclusives. But
For now.
as a whole package, I would have to say that Game Pass and everything Xbox is doing, especially with buying up all the studios, and I just think that Xbox right now, it's on a comeback. We might have lost the console war, in 2015 to PlayStation 4. But I think that it's taken this long to get to a point where, it's actually worth having an Xbox. I mean, we still don't have a whole ton of exclusives, to the same vein of the Spider-Man games to God of War. And I'd like to see Xbox work on that a little bit more. Is get us some main titles that have that draw and say, hey, this is, you want to play this? Boom. You have to have a PC or you have to have an Xbox. Um,
Coming. I'm sure there's more deals and things like that in the works.
well, with the Bethesda acquisition, the Call of Duty acquisition, or the Activision acquisition, I should say. I think
They
that,
got EA as well.
which I haven't really looked into that because I just got so tired of seeing it. But, well, I think EA is more of like a handshake. They have a exclusivity. I don't want to say exclusivity. Maybe that's not the right word, but they have a handshake deal where, with Game Pass, you can add on their EA Pass or whatever, and you get all the EA games for like $5 extra a month, which PlayStation currently doesn't have. There's also a lawsuit going on right now for PlayStation where I guess PlayStation Store was taking a massive cut of all games sold, and all the developers are like, yeah, you're going to pull all of our games from your store because we're tired of paying a massive cut. Xbox doesn't ask for a massive cut. And the only way to buy games on PlayStation, you can't just buy a game, redeem a code. You can't buy a game, say I go onto a website and buy a copy of a game, they give me a code. I can redeem it on Xbox or PlayStation or not PlayStation, but I can redeem it on Xbox or PC, but PlayStation doesn't have that. Currently, the only way to play a game on PlayStation is to download it from the PlayStation Store or have the physical copy. So currently, there's a big lawsuit going out now because all these developers pulled their games from the store because they got tired of paying such an exorbitant cut to have them listed on the store. I think it was to the tune of like 30%.
Jesus.
So now people who have purchased these games on the PlayStation Store no longer have access to them. So there's a class action lawsuit. And I think if I don't have the link for any of this, but I mean, the settlement's looking to be about $500 per person who has been affected by this. And this is small indie developers all the way up to big developers. They've just started pulling titles, and if you've purchased content from the PlayStation Store, you are no longer able to play it unless you have a physical disc copy.
Well, all right.
Well, let's talk about the Game Awards. They happened on Thursday, I believe. Baldur's Gate 3 Game of the Year. We were both fucking wrong.
Yeah.
I said Spider-Man. You said Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, that
And
Spider-Man didn't get a single, like, anything. Nothing.
I I don't agree with the fact that Spider-Man didn't get anything, dude. I think at the very least they should have got something. But I mean, dude, look at the bangers that it had this year. You know, we
It's
had
true.
we had Spider-Man, uh, Alan Wake. So game of the year was Baldur's Gate. Alan Wake won Best Game Direction. Um, Alan Wake won Best Narrative, which, I mean, Christ, that game has been gone for 13 years and finally came back with a sequel. They've been trying to make a sequel for that long. Alan Wake won Best Art Direction. Um, Final Fantasy 16 won Best Score and Music, which I didn't get to play Final Fantasy 16. It's just not one of
It's
those
the
games that I'm
same
into.
game. It's the same game.
It's like a new season of American Horror Story. It's all the same actors just playing different characters. But
Yep.
me personally, it just was never one of those franchises I could get into. There's just I've watched people play it. I don't know. Maybe I enjoy watching. Maybe it's just a streamer that I enjoy watching. But I watched JC Backfire play it on Twitch, and I enjoyed watching it. But it's just one of those games where it's like, man, there's just so much on the screen, so much visual, just fucking puke that I just can't. I can't comprehend everything. You're fighting with a fucking sword that's 8 foot long, and it's 70 fucking hits to kill a grunt. I'm just like, dude, no. Um, yeah. So, Neil Newborn won the best performance for Baldur's Gate 3. Uh,
Did you see the amount of hate that Baldur's Gate has also been getting because of the Gaming Awards? Apparently, they are upsetting the right type of people that didn't like the voice actors and things like that for PC reasons.
No.
Uh
Why
huh.
did voice actors say something out of pocket and now everyone's upset
No,
about it?
no, nothing. People were just saying they don't deserve it because of their, let's say, orientation and beliefs. It has nothing to do with their performance in the game. It has to do with who they are.
Wow.
People are giving them hate. It's like they just pumped
They
out.
did a good job.
Yeah, like it's based off of performance. They performed exceedingly well. They deserve to be accredited for their performance.
Now, me personally, I would have liked to see the voice actor for Peter Parker win because it's been reported that the next Insomniac Spider-Man game is not going to be a Peter Parker game, and this was like Peter Parker's last game devoted to him. So I'd have really liked to see him win because he truly does a phenomenal job. And Cameron Monaghan for Jedi Survivor. Hell, I mean, look at all the people that were nominated though. Cameron Monaghan. You had Idris Elba for Cyberpunk, that expansion that they released, which is
Mm.
essentially its own game. You have Neil Newborn for Baldur's Gate, Melanie Libbard for Alan Wake 2. I believe she voice acted the FBI agent in Alan. I mean, so much talent, man. And I don't know, man. I didn't play Baldur's Gate 3. Didn't get to see any of the performances, I guess. So maybe that's why I'm a little bit more inclined to say either Cameron Monaghan or Yuri Lowenthal. But for Cameron Monaghan for Star Wars and Yuri Lowenthal for Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, but who gives a crap about Spider Man? He's been the same guy for 50 years, running around in a red and blue suit, slinging webs.
Did you
He
did,
does the same thing.
did you play Spider the Spider? Well, okay, loaded question. I know you didn't. Um, he is not the same guy in Spider-Man PlayStation 5. He's a much older Peter Parker, more mature. He's not your teenage Peter Parker that you see in all the
And
movies.
let me guess, he was still bit by a spider and can still swing around
Okay. Your favorite
and still
superhero is
has super
Batman,
strength.
and Batman is still Bruce Wayne. Parents were rich, died in an alley.
At least he's a billionaire. What does Peter
Billionaire
Parker have?
playboy philanthropist. Well, exactly. What does Peter Parker have? He's like us. He's just a guy.
I don't know.
That's why he's so likable. But the performance. I'm not talking about the character. I'm not talking about the character. I'm talking about the voice actor and the performance. He did an amazing fucking job in both Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 because
Wrong.
he's no dude. He goes through some shit in these games, and the voice acting was phenomenal. There's a reason he was nominated. At the end of the day, all of these nominations were incredible. Like it just to be
Except
nominated
for
for an award like this. I mean, you gotta give props and pay your respects to those who were even just nominated. But those were all the big names. I do one of the games that I said game of the year for, um, like my personal pick. Like if I were to pick a studio that just like came out of like nowhere and released some shit, and it was just a fun fucking game. Um, was Hi-Fi Rush, and I can't remember what category they won, but they did win in a category. I think maybe it was. No, not best debut indie category. Um, I can't. I don't remember what category they won, but they did. They did get some love. They got a award for their game, which I don't know. I just love those rhythm and beat games too, and the story and art design for that whole game was incredible. Um, but that being said, I mean there were a lot of highly anticipated games that we got this year. Star Wars. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 dropped like a fucking Eminem album on Labor Day, and just out of nowhere, they just shadow dropped it, and they were like, "Oh, hey, yeah, by the way, this is what we've been working on," and it won Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I said, you had Star Wars, Jedi Survivor came out this year, which was highly anticipated. I mean, all of these games were games that, aside from maybe Alan Wake 2, like I said, the developers, Remedy Games, had been trying to make this game for 13 years, and there was a lot of copyright issues. They got bought by Epic Games, and Epic Games, I think, kind of helped them pave the way to make Alan Wake 2. I still yet to play it, but it's on my backlog. It's probably the next single player game that I'm going to be playing live on stream. So come check me out there if you're listening. Let's talk about some other franchises that haven't, in the same vein as Grand Theft Auto 6, how we've been waiting for almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years when it finally releases. What are some other games similar to Grand Theft Auto 6, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate, that you would like to see make a return? Maybe haven't been released in just as long.
Hmm. Oh boy. You did that. I'm not actually. Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, I'll start off with an obvious one, Skyrim, and
Yeah.
not just the releasing an anniversary edition,
Yeah,
not
every two
just
years.
adding more mods onto the mod list. I mean, a full-on Elder Scrolls 6. Now that one, that'll become my life when a new one of those come out.
Yep. And seeing what's
But
possible in the new engine that they've released for Starfield,
yeah,
I think that our next Elder Scrolls game is gonna be good. Um, that's on my list too. Maybe not a return to this franchise, and I know this might be a hot take for you, but The Force Unleashed. Maybe not a return, but something similar to that. I know we had the Jedi games, but I want something dark side. I want to be able to play as the dark side characters. Um, Maybe even something similar to the lines
similar
of
to the line.
KOTOR, like Knights of the Old Republic. Give us something like that. Now I know that they were working on a remaster of Knights of the Old Republic, but I know that they ran into some roadblocks and they've had some issues with trying to get that to uh trying to get that on the floor. Another one that I was thinking of would be, oh my god, it was literally on the tip of my fucking tongue and now I can't remember it. Oh, I'm gonna drive myself crazy. I need to quit thinking about it for a minute. But I agree, Elder Scrolls. Oh, I, here we go. We're gonna get into the argument again. But a little while back, a little studio that is owned by ZeniMax Entertainment. It's another Bethesda title. A little while back, there was this game that came out called Fallout 3. And one of the stipulations after Fallout 3 was that they handed off a title to a little studio called Obsidian. And Obsidian released the best Fallout game that has ever been made, Fallout New Vegas. So if I'd like to see a sequel or just like a return to, because Fallout New Vegas is very much it exists in the Fallout universe, but it's very much its own thing. I would love to see Fallout New Vegas 2 or something along those lines from Obsidian, not from Bethesda, because I think Bethesda should be working on Elder Scrolls 6. They should be working on the next Elder Scrolls game and just give Obsidian the IP again and just have them cook something up. Now, they did release a game called
The
Outer
Outer
Worlds.
Worlds. Yeah.
I liked it, and it had a lot of that like Obsidian feel to it, but it just did not hook me in the same way that Fallout New Vegas did.
Sucked.
Which one?
The Outer Worlds. Well, in New Vegas. So I'll go deep on it.
I know it wasn't your favorite.
But I'm definitely biased for the simple fact of I I could see how people like the Fallout series. But when I'm playing something like that, I kind of like more on the fantasy side.
Yeah.
Rather
I don't
than
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I so what you're really gonna like then is, now this is kind of off topic. This is not like a game that I would like to see return, or a franchise that I would like to see return. Obsidian, who made Fallout New Vegas, who made Outer Worlds, is working on something that you would probably love. It is called Avowed. And
I don't know if I've heard of that.
it's Skyrim, but made by Obsidian.
Okay.
There's two-handed sorcery. You can one-hand a sword, two-handed bow combat, just like Skyrim, but it's going to have that Obsidian flair. part of the reason I always loved New Vegas, it's just, it's a Western, If you look at gaming and you say, yeah, the Western games, set in the Old West, you have Red Dead Redemption 2, Red Dead Redemption, and while it's not technically a Western, but it gives off that Western vibe, Fallout New Vegas. They're three of the most successful Western or Western vibe games that you can have. Now, New Vegas is like dystopian, post-apocalyptic future Western, but still has that cool vibe to it. I think, you know what I think? I think that if you were to play Fallout New Vegas, but you were to play it like, because obviously it's a dated game, it would be like saying Morrowind is a good game, but you've only ever played the remaster Skyrim and Fallout 4. And then you go back and you try to play Morrowind. Little bit rough.
Just a bit.
But I think if you, and I mean you, were to go and play Fallout New Vegas the way I had it set up with my mod list, it's just a bunch of quality of life updates where, as far as picking your dialogue options, as far as adding sprint to the game, adding just all these other little features that were popularized by the Skyrim remaster and popularized by Fallout 4. I think you'd really enjoy it. And I don't know, it's one of the RPG games are this way. Once you play a game like Skyrim, Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, it's, for me at least, I have a hard time playing it in a different way. Like, when I start Skyrim, the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to try to yeet past that opening sequence because I've seen it so many times, and I'm going to try to just get to the first village as quickly as possible. Or go to that tomb, and you've played way more Skyrim than me, but for to have a better example for what I'm talking about would be to say in New Vegas, right? I get to Benny, I go meet Sunny Smiles, do that first mission for that XP. Then I get on the road and I start walking to Prim. As soon as I get to Prim, I go in, I kill everybody, I get the sheriff. It's almost like I'm speedrunning it. I play it the same way, but I know all of these things so I can get as much XP early on so that I can buff my character up, get as many levels, get as many perks as I can, and I play it almost the same way every time. And it gets to a point where
the same gun. There's no variety in it. It's the same thing every time.
right, except there's a point in Fallout New Vegas where you get to choose a faction and who you want to fight for. So that is where the game differs. It's like you follow this same road until you get to this point, and then you can go choose to fight and beat the game for the NCR. You can go choose to beat the game for Mr. House. You can choose to go beat the game for Yes Man, who is essentially you're playing it for yourself. You become the overall ruler of New Vegas. And then you can choose to play the game for like Caesar's Legion, which is I think that's another really cool thing about that game is that
Do the same thing in Skyrim.
yeah, it is the same thing in Skyrim, right?
Yeah. Well, there's obviously the two main factions, and then when the DLC came in, you could go, oh, you want to do, or I guess there's technically three. You could do the werewolves too, and then there was, what is it? You could choose to let the vampires win and kind of skulk around on the surface, or you could send them all to bathe in the light.
Yep.
But
That's the difference between Skyrim's DLC and Fallout's New Vegas's DLC. Fallout New Vegas's DLC doesn't exist in the same map. You have to go to you go to an area and you fast travel to essentially a new map. Where Skyrim, it's more of like a fluid, flawless kind of transition. Everything's happening.
wrong.
Really?
There's a DLC where you have to go to Solstheim. That is a separate island that you can only go to, well, obviously, once you unlock the fast travel. You can only get there by one boat, and it had to do with one of the Elder Scrolls.
That's in that isn't that the map that Morrowind takes place in? Or am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because on my I was playing Skyrim the last time I was playing it, and I hopped into that. And the only reason I quit playing my most recent playthrough was because I could not get my game to quit crashing. And it crashed at a point where it's like, oh fuck, I didn't save, and it's like, I'm done. Not playing it anymore. And I've played the main story of Skyrim a lot. You go get to the Greybeards, you start learning shouts, but I have always had such a hard time with exploring that game because it is so much less hand-holdy, if that makes sense, than like a New Vegas or a Fallout 3. New Vegas and Fallout 3, you'll just find a guy that he's like, hey, go try this. And then it's like, okay. Then you're on this whole long-ass side quest. And maybe it's similar. Maybe I just haven't explored enough in Skyrim. But I beat the main quest multiple times. And as talking to someone like you who's done the main quest, the side quests, the factions, you've done everything I've done, but just in a different game.
The game that's better.
I won't deny that it, as far as players, it probably is better.
Oh, but that wasn't even going to be a deciding factor.
No,
there was no
like it's a better game
for solidarity, and that's fine. But we all know Skyrim was better.
I haven't denied that.
Hey, let's settle down now. We don't need to argue.
No, I haven't denied it at all. I will say that when it comes to Fallout players and Skyrim players, while we play the same vein of game, same style RPG game made by the same developer, they are very different. You know? But when you look
And we
at,
all
I
still
will say,
hate Bethesda.
Skyrim is the best Elder Scrolls game. In the same way that Fallout New Vegas is the best Fallout game.
Let's not give it that high of a ranking.
I'm going to sit down and I'm going to play Fallout New Vegas before I play Fallout 4 again. Before I play Fallout 3.
I would play Fallout 76 before I touched any other Fallouts.
Easy now. That's like saying, you know what? I'm going to go play Elder Scrolls Online because it's the best Elder Scrolls game.
It's not too bad.
It's not Skyrim.
It's not Skyrim,
Exactly.
but it's still in the Elder Scrolls universe.
Yeah, Fallout 76 isn't Fallout New Vegas, but it's still in the Fallout universe.
Yeah, but it's still better.
In quality of life, yeah, but nothing is ever going to let me forgive what that game launched from.
True.
Like, it was such there weren't NPCs. Everything was robots, and every character, oh, you can interact with any character in the game. Well, yeah, all these characters are fucking idiots like me. They don't know shit about this game. If I want to get any information, I gotta go talk to a robot. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck Todd Howard.
Whoa now.
Yeah, they everybody over there has just turned their games into a money-making machine, trying to do live service, trying to do whatever. I don't know. But I'd say, and that's what really fucking is crazy to me, because, like I said, Fallout New Vegas was not made by Obsidian, but it is still the best game of that side of their franchise, the Fallout franchise. And I will sit there and I'll tell you right now, Fallout New Vegas is up here, Skyrim is like up here, but they're both at the top of their food chains. Can we at least agree on that?
We'll have to agree to disagree. But I'm just gonna hold on to it for.
I know you're just gonna pull it out to stab me in the ribs with it every once in a while. That's all you do.
Every once in a while, yep. I do have to say, overall, for mods that I can put on Skyrim or that I can put on Fallout, the mods on Fallout definitely seem to work smoother.
Yeah.
But there's more options on Skyrim.
Yes, but no. And let me explain. Only because, from what I remember, I don't know if Skyrim had it, but in Fallout 4, when they released their mod list or whatever, mod store, whatever the fuck it is, you could download Mod Room.
Yeah.
In Fallout New Vegas, it was just a lot easier to actually mod your character. Or not Fallout New Vegas, but Fallout 4. It was a lot easier to mod your character. Skyrim, you could give yourself all the points, the XP to do it, but then you still had to go into your individual categories and distribute those points. Which was a little annoying for me whenever I did like a modded playthrough. Like, if you just wanted to start out buff and just run through Skyrim buff, you wanted to go one shot Alduin with a fucking modded bow, something like that. Fallout 4 mods were a lot easier to do that with. Whenever I say modding for Fallout New Vegas, I'm talking, it's weird, I don't ever put like the mini nuke launcher on where I can like just fire automatic mini nukes at something. I don't ever do something like that in Fallout New Vegas. It's more fun in Fallout 4 for some reason. But Fallout New Vegas, I just almost love playing that vanilla plus experience. Like I do all the quality of life mods and the only way to mod New Vegas is on PC. So I think that's also another contribution. Like if you like Skyrim mods, dude, PC's the way to fucking go because you can just get so much more expansive with it. But yeah.
True.
Any other franchises you'd like to see return?
For a revamp, I want Bungie to come back and take over Halo again.
I mean, they kind of got their hands full with Destiny, but
That
I agree that Halo was in its prime when Bungie was around. What like Halo 2 to were they involved with Reach?
I believe it stopped at Halo 4, so it's everything
Reach and
before
4.
that.
Like Halo 4 wasn't I don't know. I wasn't a
Halo
Halo
4
person.
wasn't good. It wasn't bad.
It was just Halo
It was there.
3 again, in my
Yeah.
personal opinion. But, you know, it had the features that have been completely fucking stripped from everything post Halo 4. You know, everything that we've come to expect. Like, I believe that you can't even co-op campaign in Halo 5 through Infinite, or if you could, it was like added in at a later date. And they
No, they still
promised,
haven't added it in.
I know they promised it for Infinite, right? And then they never did
Yeah.
it.
Promised it on release.
But and the thing was, it was in the game. People were finding ways to get into it in the game, but on at least on PC, they were finding ways to like go in and change certain code, and then they could get into it. But it didn't have all of the missions in there. There were like 2 missions they didn't do, but um, yeah, it was. I'd love to see Bungie. I'd love to see Bungie break off because now Bungie is owned by PlayStation. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see them be able to recapture what made Halo so good and even just say, let Halo die. I'm sorry, let Halo die. In the same way that I want to say, dude, just let fucking Call of Duty Zombies die and let somebody else come in who understands that community make a Call of Duty Zombies clone and just, you know, make that.
I feel that way. I do.
I'd love to see Bungie just break off from, or have the developers break off from Bungie. Have the ones that went to 343 from Bungie to work on Halo, have them come together and create something entirely new that can recapture how we felt about Halo. Well, how you felt. I was not a big Halo fan. But I played Halo 3 a little bit, you know, and it was always more like a couch co-op session where we were all just playing together, and you might have been there, I don't know, but I think I was playing with my brother and my buddy Colt. There's so many franchises that are no longer produced by the people that originally made them. And prime example, Modern Warfare, right?
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2, the 2 lead developers left Infinity Ward. That's why Modern Warfare 3 was so fucking rushed. And I'm talking about the original Modern Warfare 2 and 3. Modern Warfare 3 was rushed. They brought Sledgehammer in to finish it back in 2012, 11, one of those years. And the original developers left and started doing their own thing, and one of them went and created Respawn Entertainment with EA. And they made Titanfall 2, Apex Legends. In those games have their own identity. Those games, they took everything that they learned from making games, from making Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, and they made an entirely new franchise that could surpass. And then after Titanfall, you had Call of Duty copying their old developers, and everything went jetpacks, which jetpacks were fine in Titanfall.
Yeah.
But Call of Duty didn't need to copy that to compete. I don't know, dude. The two big ones I was thinking were Force Unleashed and Elder Scrolls for games I'd like to see come back. I'd like to see maybe how maybe they have made something and I just haven't played it, but like something that came more along the lines of that Spyro original trilogy. You know, give me like a little 2D platform or something fun, something to sit on the couch, play with Madden. I think that would be fun. There's some franchises that made games, like movie franchises that made games that never caught on. One of them was a Ghostbusters video game, and I remember playing the beta on PlayStation 3, and it was a really good game in my opinion. I never actually got to play the game, and it's like if I went back and played it now, it would probably not be as good. But I'd like to see someone do something along those lines, like make a beloved franchise video game like for a movie and make it actually good. We had that Avengers game came out and was terrible.
Yeah.
I haven't played Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, I have one for a franchise that needs to make a comeback, and I think you're gonna agree. Batman Arkham games by Rocksteady, not whoever made that Gotham Knights bullshit. Give me Batman back and have Rocksteady start working on expanding that universe. Because in Arkham City, we heard about the guy flying around in Metropolis, which we all know to be Superman. Make a Superman game. That would be so damn cool. But give us back Arkham Knight, Arkham City, and Arkham Asylum Batman. And unfortunately, rest in peace, the voice actor. I can't remember his name, but he passed away. I think early in 2022 or late in early 2023 or late 2022. Unfortunately, he passed away. And now Rocksteady had been working on their Suicide Squad game, but it's just not gonna have that same vibe. It's not gonna be Arkham Knight, Arkham City, and Arkham Asylum. But I'd love to see them just go in and remaster some of those old games and give them back to us. You know, Arkham Knight probably doesn't need it as bad as the other two, but in how Arkham City still kind of looks good. But Arkham Asylum, man, that game was buggy. But those are games that I'd love. I just have such fond memories playing them. You let me borrow Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
And that was my first introduction to that whole franchise. And Mark Hamill is the Joker, man. I mean, Luke Skywalker. I never realized until I started playing those games that Mark Hamill also voiced the Joker in pretty much anything animated Batman. And he's the only one that can do that wacky character in my mind. Because the Joker in animated stuff is he's just wacky, and I love it. Something so good about it. Any other franchises you think need to make a return to gaming?
Let's see. Hey, but just as another side thing, just making sure Call of Duty goes for the people again, not just for the money.
Mm-hmm. We all want
But
that.
there's nothing really. Everything, it had its time. It's peace. Most of it can be laid to rest. I was agreeing with Halo. I was agreeing with pretty much everything that you stated. I
Mm-hmm.
can't think of anything that really is tweaking me. No.
Well, in that case, I think we're gonna wrap it here. Good podcast. We got some GTA 6 action. We talked Game Awards. And we just talked about franchises we want to see return. And honestly, this was kind of more of an unstructured. We just kind of went in, hey, what do you want to talk about? I said, well, GTA 6 came out, and Baldur's Gate won Game Awards, so maybe we should just talk about that stuff. And the whole reason we wanted to talk about the games we wanted to see return to older games that we wanted to see return is because, well, we had GTA 6 that announced this week, and we haven't seen new content from them in 10 years. And we had Baldur's Gate, which, like I said, hadn't seen, content from a Baldur's Gate game in quite a while. Alan Wake took 13 years to remake, and these were all won multiple awards at the Game Awards this year. And so I just thought it was fitting. Talk about games that we wish would return and just kind of live in some nostalgia for a little bit. Well, with that being said, we're going to wrap it up here. I'm Nick. This is Dante. Please feel to follow us at our socials. I'll have them in a link in the video description down below. If you're listening on Spotify, please feel free to go check out our YouTube channel over on YouTube at GameFlix and Chill. Yeah. Have a good one.